This is Toni Van Schoik, serialpreneur, and I am here with our Effing Simple podcast and platform. And today, you guys, I'm so excited. I have one of the most favorite people that I have met through my journey. It's a new relationship. I've known Mike for about 3 years, but let me tell you, I was introduced to him because I had always wanted to write a book. And he was introduced to me as the guy that writes the books. I'm going to tell you, you guys, he's written and helped people write almost, is it 300 books now?
We have about 250, 240 completed, published, about 50 in the pipeline. So we're almost at 300.
Unbelievable. And when I got started with you, you were just getting ramped up. So, but over the course of you publishing books and helping people get their book out there, I have just seen you blossom and diversify. And that is why I wanted you to come and speak to all of the wonderful people that we've been, brought into our circle, because I want them to know you. I want them to know what an incredible entrepreneur you are. So being that we got introduced through the books, why don't you, and Mike, you've been an entrepreneur for a while, and you're a young dude. Are you even 30 yet?
I'm 37.
37. Okay. Yeah. Still, but you've been doing this for a while. You look really great for your age, by the way.
Thank you very much. I feel like I'm never really going to grow up because I get to just, do what I've always wanted to do, which is, tell stories. I'm a nonfiction guy. I've always done a lot of documentary research as a kid, and I just get to play. And you see me talk about create, build, play. If you're playing, I think you can just stay young all the way. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I agree. I've almost got 20 years on you, and I still run circles around the 20-year-olds, right?
Beautiful. Yep.
So what's so great is, I've been able to watch your journey unfold. And you've always said, never play small, right? You're always playing big. Always. So why don't you go back in a little bit of history with us and tell me where you got that entrepreneurial spirit from?
Well, it does go back to when I was probably 16 years old. I was sitting there thinking about, man, do I want to become a Navy guy? Like I kept thinking, I'm going to follow my dad's footsteps, my grandfather's footsteps, join the Navy. And I kept reading about Navy SEALs. I would do all kinds of research on Navy SEALs. And here I am, this shorter dude is like, I'm going to become a Navy SEAL. Holy smokes. So then I started, getting into the workforce. I got a job at a convenience store, and I met this guy who was an entrepreneur who owned the gas station, owned a bunch of restaurants and all kinds of properties. And I saw how he lived. And that was the moment that I said, I want to do whatever this guy does. And what's crazy about this is I didn't really catch his attention because he's the owner. I'm just this convenience store clerk. Well, what I did was I didn't cash a paycheck for months. Okay. And I had this idea of, well, in order to make a lot of money, I just need to save money. Here I am, I have no money, I have an 88 Honda Civic hatchback I bought for $800. I'm traveling to work. I don't cash my paycheck at all for months and months at a time. He comes in one day, he goes, "Are you the guy that's not cashing your paychecks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because if I don't have it, if I have no access to it, I won't spend it." He goes, how much you have saved up? I'm like, over $5,000. He's like, "You mean you're a 17-year-old kid who's not cashing paychecks, who's saving all of his money?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I need to make money. And that's how I think is the best way." He goes, "Okay, let me start to educate you a little bit about money." He started telling me about mutual funds and all that. Anyways, here I am. I'm taking advice now from a millionaire. He's the first millionaire that I've ever met in my life. He got me on the path of, hey, own your own business. Do something where you are going to be building over the course of your life. Okay. So he's like, go to school, just in case it's a fail safe. Go and, go to Duquesne University, get into debt, but you'll have something and you'll make some good money as you build your business. So here I was, went to school, took all of his advice. I get out of school. And that's whenever I realized, okay, well, there's a lot of empty promises here. He's giving me information, but all I'm doing is really just becoming like an employee. So it wasn't about like, hey, get all the information and go and work on your own. It was, here's all the information, come work for me. So we kind of separated ways, but that's when I got into real estate. I got a real estate license, bought my first property. I started 4 businesses. They all failed miserably. I just fell in love with the idea of being your own boss right there at 16, did a bunch of weird stuff for the next few years, but it gave me all these tools and pieces of advice and school of hard knocks. And here I was finally, let's just say I was 30 years old. I started a business that finally made a little bit of money. People started coming to me saying, Mike, how the heck did you start this direct-to-home dog product service? And I said, well, you got to keep things simple. You got to understand demand. You got to understand your vision. And people were like, well, hey, maybe you should write a book. Wrote a book, changed my life. The rest is history. People started coming to me, not for the dog product service, but can you help me write a book? And there I was, off on my own.
That's incredible. So how long have you owned DreamStarters Publishing?
So DreamStarters Publishing technically started 2015, right around 2015, started to really make waves in 2016. And that's whenever I went all in on the books. So 2013, 2014, the direct-to-home dog product service, and it melted right into the books, because as soon as the book came to life, that's when I was like, oh my God, there's such a demand here. And maybe that's a great little takeaway here, guys. You think that sometimes that your vision is like the end all be all. Well, if you get too married to that vision, you'll miss these opportunities. And I was able to see like, well, I could keep doing a direct home dog product service, but wait a second, the market, the world is telling me this is the path you need to take. This is the one.
So that's incredible. And you've been able to build and create, a 7-figure income just from that one income stream alone, correct?
Well, we've done about we do about $800,000 through that. And then in addition to that, I have software. I have a couple of different businesses. So we're about the 7-figure mark. And it's in combination with a couple of affiliations that I have because of the business. So it's not directly, because we do about, 2 books, maybe a book and a half a week. So we're on track to break $1 million directly with DreamStarters Publishing, but because of our affiliations and everything, it's pretty wild to see that you could snowball off into 7, 8, 9 different revenue streams very easily because of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because I really want, that's where I want this to go, is I want to talk to you about how did that process start, and how is that enriched? I mean, yes, I definitely agree. We have to have multiple streams of income, but you still got to make the main thing the main thing.
Yep.
So you've got these other affiliate programs, these other things that you're doing. So tell us what else you're doing right now, why you decided to do these particular businesses, and what are you expecting from those?
Great question. So I think it all goes back to my dream obituary that I wrote in 2014. How do I want to be remembered when it's all said and done? That's what got me very clear on the book business, but that's also what got me clear on the direction of my life outside of the book business. So in my dream obituary, this is a great exercise. You always want to write down, and this is even a really great takeaway for you, write down, like, if you were to die today, what would it be like? And what would it say? And then write down, what would you want it to say? And so you're able to see, oh, well, I want to be known for writing lots of books, starting lots of businesses. Oh, I want to be a speaker. I want to motivate. I want to inspire. Well, if I want this, and this is what scares me, living this way, this is going to draw me to it, but this is going to push me to keep going for this. So I started to say, I need to have multiple businesses. Now I'm glad you brought that up. Your main thing has to be your main thing. DreamStarters Publishing is my main baby. This is how I make all my money. I take that money and then I make that money make money. So that to me is how I live. Everything that I make from DreamStarters Publishing has to be used for something that's going to bring in money without me even looking at it. So the thing that I started to look into was real estate and investments that I had no control over, no ability to influence or anything. All I was looking for were people that I trusted. I trust people rather than businesses. And so if I could find people who are my allies and say, you know what, if I could work with you and just feed you money or feed you some type of assistance or value, we're going to be an affiliation. We're going to be a partnership. We're going to be connected for a lifetime potentially. So whether this business fails or not, it doesn't matter. Me and you, or you and my team or whatever, we're going to be doing great things for a long, long time. So that's what I started doing. I was working with all these high-level entrepreneurs like yourself that are doing amazing things. Now, I'm not into the multifamily business, but I meet a lot of people who are experts in it. So I want to be around those individuals. Okay, I'm going to put together some sources of revenue, and all of a sudden, any bit of money that I make, I'm going to put it towards you because I know you're going to do big things with it. So my ideas came from, who do I want to surround myself with? What are my core values? And is it going to be something that is going to affect my life day to day? Because if those three things are all in line, then my decision making is easy. This is a person that's a patriot. They believe in God, and I know how they're going to respond if something bad happens, and they're very great at communication. I want to be around you. I know you have a proven track record. You're surrounded by great people. I want to be around you. Oh, guess what? If we do business together, you might be able to put me in contact with these other people who are doing other great things that share the exact same core values. That's a win-win-win. And so as long as I'm able to do that with my business, I find myself winning on different levels than I ever thought was possible. So the other businesses that I'm a part of, I have a thing called Mike's Inner Circle. Okay. And you are a part of it. It's a bunch of patriot entrepreneurs working together, doing big things, helping each other out. I'm a part of a credit card processing company. So I invest money with an individual who's a part of the Inner Circle, and he basically takes my money and gives a return of investment, return on investment because of it. So I get these people together. I provide value because I'm connecting like-minded individuals, but also I'm able to capitalize on their opportunities that come across their pathways. So I'm also looking at mobile home park storage units. I've teamed up with a software company who was a part of the Inner Circle, who was actually a client I've worked with. They're actually helping you out with your funnels and different software programs. And I'm able to see how entrepreneurship is a spider web. As long as you have one lifeline and that's your main baby, and you add a lot of value to the world, the right people somehow enter your sphere. And then all of a sudden you could start to snowball off into different directions and say, well, I'm going to work with this person. I'm going to do business here. And the sky's the limit, because as long as you're thinking about multiple revenue streams, then all of a sudden one could be broken down tomorrow, but it doesn't affect you. And that desperation or lack of desperation allows you to think clearly, and people see that, they respond to it, they want to be around it.
That was so great. So Mike, we've talked about, you've alluded to the Inner Circle a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about that, because what you're doing, bringing entrepreneurs together like that is really unique and cool. So can you elaborate more on that?
Yes. So you are only as strong as your circle. It's a phrase I've been saying over and over for years. And so when I started to put together this group, people always said to me, man, you need to have some type of deeper connection with your clients. I work with entrepreneurs all over the world. Okay. And these people, they all have one thing in common, really, that they're entrepreneurs, and they write a book. So that's it. But what if you can find a certain individual who wants those books done, and they're all doing big things, but they're not around a lot of great people. Maybe they're out there on their own. Well, I started realizing this common trend of all these people I work with. They love America. They love the entrepreneurial drive. They realize that everything comes down to who they surround themselves with. They want to get in the best shape of their life, mentally, physically, financially. Well, why not just put them all in one room? Okay. And the magic that can happen from that one room is unbelievable. So why don't I create this group that basically says, okay, this is what we believe. Are you in or are you out? And if I can put them in this room, listen, I don't even care if Bill and Sandy get together and do business. I have no gain from it. But my value in this society, I've realized, is how can I just be of service? How can I be of service to people starting out? How can I be of service who are multimillionaires? How can I be of service who are people who are right at the same level as me? If I can connect the dots and be of service, that's the key here. Be of service and add value to everyone around you, wherever you go, then you have unlimited opportunities. You are now in conversations that you don't even think you belong, but people are saying, well, Mike is the one that put us in contact. Get him on the line, get him involved in this group, because now he was the one that added value to us. Maybe there's that reciprocation that's going to happen. Maybe not. But as long as I'm of service, I've seen no downside, only upside. And I'm not thinking about just for me, but that's how the world works, is that if you are of service to everyone around you, the universe rewards you. So Mike's Inner Circle has done so many wonders for me personally and mentally and with my confidence, because I'm able to see, wow, I took this person from this room that, they were by themselves and from this place of where they're at and put them together. And now they're best friends doing amazing real estate deals. Oh, nothing really feels better than seeing how you're able to connect a lot of dots.
So, you know what, it's really great you went into that, because I was going to ask you, I was going to ask you, how do you give back? How do you, show gratitude? And you're right. Every true entrepreneur truly wants to help other people. Yes. Because it only makes you better. So I'm so glad that you touched on that. My next question for you is, what are your, and sometimes people want to shy away from the word discipline. Okay. Discipline, I think, is a great word. I think it can be used. It's a very positive word when it's used, in all entrepreneurs, they have discipline. There's no question there. So what are your key things that are non-negotiables that you do every single day? And can you tell us both personally and professionally?
Yes. Good. Ooh, it really comes down to your schedule, your habits, because your habits, you are a product of them, regardless of if they're good or bad. You are a product of your habits. So discipline to me is, and I was even talking with a client this morning about discipline and the consistency part. People who are repeating, certain mistakes, they're going to keep repeating them. It's all it is. What you are a product of repetition. So whatever you really want to get good at, whatever you really want to feed your mind, you really need to repeat that over and over and over. So I'll just give you a quick little thing, that outline of my day. And then I'll also break it down maybe professionally with metrics and with my business. So every day I wake up whenever I want to wake up. That's one thing. So I realized, for the first 8 years of my business, I used to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I wasn't getting anywhere. I was burning myself out. Come 9 o'clock at night, I used to be starting to wind down and lose it a little bit. Well, I have clients all over the world, so I can't really and I'm on the East Coast. So that's a big difference there too. So I would now wake up, let's just say 6 or 7 in the morning. And this is how I got my start, that I started to see results. I would wake up, and instead of put myself through pain or something that I wasn't looking forward to, I would want to feel good. And what's crazy about this story is, the way I got started in 2015, 2016, the business started to work. I'd wake up at 6, 7 in the morning. I would ease into my day, and I would actually start off by watching 2 episodes of one of my favorite shows of all time, Married with Children. I would listen to and watch this show and just try to get in a good mood, because I would tackle the day with a positive mentality, almost come off of like this high of like just of humor in comedy. I noticed that I could hold my spirits higher when I started to do that. So once I started to make a little bit of money and all that, obviously I stopped watching Married with Children after about 1 year or 2 years, but I kept that rhythm alive. So nowadays I wake up probably right around 7 in the morning. I have a non-negotiable, no matter where I'm at, 2 eggs with 2 pieces of toast. Okay. It is a guaranteed breakfast. I know, and maybe it's physically, maybe it's mentally, this is my best. I know that if I get this in my system, I am ready to go. So whether it works for you, I'm not sure, but that is my habit right out of the gate. Now I listen to Jordan Peterson lectures. Okay. Every morning, without question, I don't listen to music in the morning anymore. I listen to lectures or something for about 6-7 minutes. And I just think about this, whatever it's saying, I want to feed my mind with something right out of the gate. I usually start the day, whatever it is. I do put my meetings and all that right around the 10 a.m. mark. That's when I manage most of my energy, 10 to about 2 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, I start to wind down a little bit, but I do have team meetings usually right around the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock mark. So I also work out at the end of every day. I do not work out in the morning. So I run every day to burn myself out. I'm an energy guy. I'm a Leo. I just want to keep going. But I've realized that what gets the best out of me, if I put the energy that really is not productive, but it's more therapeutic. So it clears my mind, but it burns my energy down so I could sleep well at night. And at the end of every night, by the way, this is crazy. And this is why maybe I'm still single. I want to listen to more podcasts or lectures to fall asleep. Every night I'm falling asleep. I never turn on the TV. Never, ever anymore. It's so crazy. If I watch anything, it's on YouTube. That's it. I watch zero TV, and 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, I'll start to maybe put on a podcast, or maybe around a 10, I put on a podcast or a lecture, and I want to start to drift away. And so every night I'm feeding my brain with new information. And what that does is people think like, oh, well, you've already listened to that podcast once or maybe twice. That doesn't mean anything. What you're trying to do is take in all this information subconsciously. So when you are on a podcast or with a client, with your team, it starts to flow out of you and it just becomes who you are. And all of a sudden you become a better articulator. You can connect with people a little bit better. And you almost start to say, where did I get all this from? Well, it's coming from a consistent approach of feeding your mind every morning or every night with new stuff. And it's this repetition for years. So that's my personal life. Professionally, it is all about keeping momentum alive. I have grown with a team. I'm constantly communicating with my assistant, Ashley. After 3 years of working with her and feeding her information, she is now stepping up and saying, I want to take the reins. I want to blow this up. I want to go big with this. So it took 3 years for me of me feeding all this information to her to finally be like, whoa, I believe in this guy. I believe in this company. And then the writers and all these people see the culture. They see me put myself out there online. I have to post every day. I'm a content creator. I'm constantly creating new content. This keeps my mind sharp because I need to keep consuming information to keep putting it out there. And if you keep doing that, the ebbs and flows, you realize how much you don't know, but then you start to realize how much you do know. And I'm always in content creation mode, which is obviously doing one thing more than anything else. It's clarifying my message for my audience and for my team, which means if I'm doing that, the right people are going to enter my life. The wrong people are going to exit or never step in that circle whatsoever. And if you stay in content creation mode, my God, it is always about you giving value back, right? And so once again, this goes back to that original lesson. If you just keep giving information, keep giving value, the right ears are going to hear it and they're going to just be drawn to it like a magnet. And I think that especially now, the masks are off, pun intended. You are who you are. And if you show it, the people are going to find you.
Amazing, amazing advice. So, Mike, just to wrap this up, and I feel like, you gave so many tangibles that you talked about, this last 20, 25 minutes. Let me ask you, we talked about, you talked about your, how you schedule your day and everything like that. Give us 3 main things that you focus on every single day to grow your business. What are you doing? Not just content creation. What are you doing outside of that in order to grow your business on a daily basis?
So I am constantly searching for new information from respected authors, respected speakers, always on the lookout for new books to pick up, put on my audiobook list, or things to read, or constantly trying to get 1% better in every aspect of my life. So I'm trying to grow it internally, because as long as I am growing as a person, my business is growing. So people think, oh, what is this podcast about? The difference between how men operate compared to how women operate at these different levels of their life and all that. What are you talking? That to me, if you are understanding the psychological approach of human beings, this is going to not only add value to your team, your business of DreamStarters Publishing, it'll help you as an entrepreneur in 30 different businesses that you are part of going forward. So as long as I'm growing as a person, there's that. So I have to keep feeding my mind. The other part of it is I'm constantly trying to reach out to people who I've talked to in the past and establish a stronger relationship. So if I see myself kind of like dipping down, it's because I need to think of how can I be of service? Going back to it, I need to establish relationships with someone else or a stronger relationship with someone. So I'm always in interactive mode. This is difficult for a lot of people because they want to just turn off the phone and go away. But you're in growth mode. You really need to keep watering the plants, not just your plant, but other people's plants. Because over time, it's almost like if you stop showing up, if people are driving by their favorite store every day for 20 years and all of a sudden it's not there, they think you're gone, and then they're going to go somewhere else, or they're going to put their attention somewhere else. So showing up means also establishing somewhat a relationship. Me and you, Toni, think about this. We do business together, but we'll send each other text messages and Instagram messages about what we're seeing. That has nothing to do with business, but it's keeping the relationship alive. And the third part that I've realized more than anything else is I know I'm able to do certain things at this point. I have confidence in my abilities, but I need to see now in my team that they're getting to where they want to go. So I am always, and especially with Ashley, who's basically my protege with this company, I have an interaction with her to say, I know I could do it, but can you handle this? And I can monitor and be her support and ask her, hey, can I take over? Oh, you don't want me to take over? Great. So I'm always in what's the health of the people around me when it comes to the business. I'm always, that's sort of like my big monitor. If I'm able to see them do really well and I'm able to see the emails of how they're responding to clients, and if I can take care of her in every aspect, she's going to take care of 30, 40, 50 clients. So which means everybody wins. And then it also allows my brain to start thinking in different terms for the business. I could start to think of other revenue streams. I could start to think of, oh, we're in growth mode over here now. Oh, we're going to do something in this way. Okay, I need this person. It allows my brain, because I really don't think I'm really that smart. I really am not that smart. I'm this BC student. I would say that. But I am just a guy who just never gives up. And when I want something, I go after it. That's my two superpowers, if you really want to break it down. So that gives me an advantage over those people who are super high IQ, but they're afraid of risk. They're afraid of maybe stepping away from a certain job, or they're afraid of how they will look. I got none of that. I don't care anymore. That gives me an advantage over them. So if I see something I want, I'm going to go after it. And now I realize it's not about the how, it's all about the who. And there's a great book out there, Who Not How, that you should read. And it's about finding the right people to put in your life that will help you to get you where you want to go. So I think that would be something that I'm always focusing on. And if you really do all those things in your life, monitor the people in your circle or your team, you're always feeding yourself with the right information, and you're always in nurture mode and finding the right people for the right spots. My God, the wins are going to just never stop coming. There's going to be losses for sure, but this is a chess game. You get really good at chess with that.
That's a great point, which leads me, and I just thought of this question. So as business owners, business has ebbs and flows, and you know that we will eventually lose momentum, and it's like this all over the place. So what have you done when your business has either plateaued or that you have encountered problems or speed bumps? What do you do to get yourself out of that?
The number one thing that I've done in the past is great question, but I think it all starts back to preparing yourself for the low point. I do believe that those people who are relying on one revenue stream or that one thing to work, they become super desperate. So if you are desperate, you act really weird. You're stressed out. You're not happy with what you're doing. You're so reliant on it. It's your only lifeline that you now become needy. You become pushy, and it's weird because you start driving people away. So I believe the way to protect that is to have multiple games going. Okay. So Jordan Peterson, going back to this, says that in order to win games, you need to be invited to be a part of a lot of games. So you need to figure out a way to get invited. And the way you get invited is by being a man or woman of your word, being consistent, doing things in a timely manner, having fun, being around great people, having a lot of results, right? Having energy. When you enter a room and you have low energy, chances of people saying, damn, I want that person on my team, it's just not there. So I've realized that I need to play a lot of games. And the way that I'm able to get out of those low points is by having another lever to pull right away, not searching for it when I need it, by having it when I need it. Give you an example. Whenever the pandemic quotes started in right around January, February, I went into, oh my God, I only have one main revenue stream. So I do have a couple of things that I'm working on. I got this magazine that I have. I have a different multi-level business that I'm a part of. I could pull that. So I started to use these businesses as levers to spike a lot of attention for what I was doing. So with the magazine or other businesses that I was putting together, I was able to kind of position myself in a way that said, okay, well, everybody's like getting laid off from work. Well, man, multi-level marketing, why would they not want to join this type of business? They could use that. What they need income. Why wouldn't they not? So, oh, what about the magazine? Well, it doesn't cost that much money, $17 per magazine, but I can get a lot of people who need a lot of promotion. Let's get them in the magazine. Cost me nothing. Every magazine I put out is $1,000. I can get all that back and then some. Maybe I don't make a lot of money, but it's creating waves. It's like a rock into a lake and creating waves. So I started doing that with multiple businesses. Had nothing to do with DreamStarters Publishing, but it got a lot of attention for DreamStarters Publishing in an indirect way, because as long as you're doing something and you're keeping momentum alive in that business or outside of that business, energy is attracted to energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? So as long as you have momentum, it's going to be drawn to you in some way. Then you harness that energy for other businesses. So I think the key to what you just said is having levers ready to go. Do something that if something comes in your pathway, it's a rock wall or some type of barrier, you need to have another move ready to go that's going to create some type of wave that's going to get you to where you want to go. Remember, the business is not what's important. It's you and your vision what's important. So you can always find ways around it as long as you're not too strict on that. Oh, I need to take this path. I need to do it this way. If you hit a lull, just be ready to throw something else out that maybe is the lifesaver, right? That's going to be the one that gets you the attention. And then once timing fixes itself, now you're back on your road.
You know, that was a perfect, like literally a perfect denouement to our discussion today, because especially right now with what we're seeing is that people are in danger of losing their only income stream. So it's so, if this hasn't taught people that lesson, they're just never going to get it.
Toni, you nailed it. And what I was just thinking of, I was thinking business, but what you just said is these people out there, and I'm getting calls left and right since I've started saying, hey, I want to hire nurses who are getting fired. Do you know what these people are doing? They're hurting their body because they have no other options. They're in desperation mode. When they're in desperation mode, they're going to just succumb to the forces that be and say, I'll do whatever you say. Yep. And that's not good.
No. And this is, this great country was founded on choices. It was founded on entrepreneurism and small businesses. And, we saw when they did the lockdown, how it affected the primary heartbeat of this country. And so it is people like us that are out there advocating and saying there is a better way. There are options. And that's one of the reasons why I had to get you on, is because it, yes. And you agreed, you said it, is multi-level marketing is a great avenue to do that. That's one of our income streams too, as well. But the fact of the matter is that when you're faced with these life or death situations, and that's what I'm going to call it right now, because that's what it is, is that you have to, I know without a doubt that I'm going to put all my trust and faith in God and everything is going to be okay. People are scared, they're anxious, and they're not trusting the process. So it was so great to have you on today. Mike, where can our audience find you at?
Yeah. So the website for DreamStarters Publishing, if you have any questions about the book writing process or book creation process, DreamStartersPublishing.com. The best way to get a hold of me and get a quick snippet of who I am as a person is Instagram, and it's at the DreamStarter. So if you can contact me at one of those two places, we can jump on a call. I can answer any questions. And that's the thing. I'm glad you touched on that. Faith. I cannot tell you, I believe my faith has become so much stronger over the past 2 years. And as long as you trust in the process, as you said, this only good can come from that. Only good. You start to take these steps that nobody else has the courage or the ability to take these steps. And all of a sudden you start to separate yourself from the pack. Now, you don't want to do that because you want to help everybody, but you notice with your strong faith it also leads to strong action, and action leads to results. So you start to see it right away, maybe faster now than ever. So I'm glad you brought that up.
You know what? That was great. Thank you, Mike, so much. Anything else that you would like to add before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say that, Toni, you are the real deal. And I talk about you a lot with all my clients. And I really appreciate you having me on, especially early on in your podcast season here. So thank you very much.
You were our second guest. And I did that purposely. Like I really thought about who do I want, my first like 10 guests to be. And they're people that I have really grown to really respect and you're crushing it, Mike. I mean, bottom line is you've been crushing it the last 3 years that I've known you. You're going to keep crushing it. People that are, have faith and that believe in entrepreneurism and believe in the service that you were talking about, having that servant heart and giving back to people selflessly. Those, I mean, that is that's the whole platform that we have here is how can I help you win? How can I add value? And you had mentioned that so well, and you do it so well. You are a walking example of exactly that. So I want to thank you so much, you guys. Mike Fallat, serial entrepreneur as well, and the owner of DreamStarters Publishing. I will get your links up, so if people have any questions, they know exactly where to find you. And Mike, thank you so much for being our second guest on our first official platform. So I just so appreciate it so much, man. Thanks.
Anytime. Thank you so much, Toni.